Alright guys, so this is going to be the intermediate and advanced fountain firework making tutorial. This video may end up being long, so follow with me here as long as you can, and I will be making this video for both safe and sane and non-safe and sane states. If you're in a safe and sane state and I add something you cannot, I'll usually be pretty good about adding a substitute or something you can do to substitute it. Always, even if you don't have it and you're wherever. This is going to be intermediate to advanced, so there's going to be some techniques that I went over in other firework videos and stuff like that. But this, for the most part, we're going to be doing a lot of taking fireworks apart and harvesting a lot of stuff. Now, I got called out in one of my other videos that I called out the stuff inside the sparklers and fountains gunpowder. It's not gunpowder. For continuity's sake, and so I don't have to keep telling you and figuring out what all these compositions are, I'm just going to call it gunpowder. So from here on out, whenever there's a powder that we're gathering out of the sparklers or fountains or whatever, it's going to be called gunpowder. Just keeping that clear right now. So before we get into the fireworks we need to get into tools, what we're going to need to actually start the project. So I'm going to go over to my table and show you guys what I'm going to use. Now keep in mind you do not need everything I have. I'm going to go over the bare minimum you have and I'll show you what I use. So keep in mind that you don't need everything, but it's always good to have. I may not even use everything I have. So let's go over to the other table. All right, so I use a funnel. A funnel is your friend. You can make your own out of paper. I've shown you how to do that in other videos. For the tools that you will need, the main thing you'll need is a paper towel roll, which has already been modified into a cone-shaped firework, or other type of cardboard tubing that you can get at a hobby store. So basically you need a container. I'll kind of try my best to show you guys how to make, I have clay that I have for my chokes and bottoms, so as you see both are completely capped off. This one does not use any clay. This is more of a cone. Cones are what I like to use when I was first starting out because it makes everything into a nice uniform top and a big bottom for a finale. So there's that. Tools. You'll definitely need electrical tape or duct tape. Electrical tape has a higher burning point than duct tape, but they both pretty much burn at heats that fireworks burn anyways. But hey, I also have various items to pack things down. The most important thing is scissors and maybe some pliers. Scissors and pliers and a hammer maybe. But also I have a hot glue gun. Also, when we do our planning, I have a paper and clipboard. We'll get into that in a brief second. So, main thing, bare minimum you need. A paper towel holder, some form of tape, duct tape, electrical tape, something that'll hold and isn't chintzy like scotch or masking tape. Don't use those tapes. You want good durable tape. You also need something for your bottom, so you're going to need either more cardboard or a piece of plastic. Anything will do. Something that'll hold the firework upright and sturdy. So you're going to need a bottom, a tube, and we will show you how to get fused and everything else in a minute. So that's all done. This is all just clay that I used from last night. But this is what we're going to be working in, which is kind of crappy because I didn't clean it. But always try to do your work into an area where you can, have it all fall into and not have it fall on the floor. So I like to do it in an assortment box because it's easy and handy. So that's pretty much it for the tools. Let's go over and start our planning stage where we're thinking about a firework. We're going to use, I guess we'll use this since, I want it to be easy to follow along with. So let's move over. Alright guys, it's time to plan. Now I'm going to be using a lot of crackling balls and crackling whips and stuff like that. But you got to remember when you're making your own firework, you're filling it up like a glass. So the bottom of it, it's going to be the last thing you technically light. So basically you want to start with your finale and then work your way up to the beginning. So basically the first thing you do when you're making a firework is think of your finale. So what I'm going to do and what you can follow me along with is I'm going to add lots of crackle, and I'm going to try my best to get it to shoot up way out of the tube and high. So basically the way I'm going to achieve that is I need to figure out what's going to give me the biggest launch and explosion. What would give me the biggest launch and explosion? Now this is for everyone. You can get these in a safe and sane state, but I'm not going to do it for this demonstration purpose. You gather the powder out of a Piccolo Pete. I showed you guys how to do that in my mine tutorial. You can kind of go back and watch that. I'll put a link in the description and on the video here, so if you guys want to, kind of do that kind of thing, you can do that on the bottom of here. But I'm going to use the black powder out of a mine or a mortar shell, which you'll see in a minute, and some of the metal stick sparklers. So these you have to order online, or you can get them at another. You can't get these in a safe and sane state. These have metal sticks and are pretty much just all gunpowder on the stick. Here's the difference. These are normal morning glories, and these are sparklers. These will work. They just won't give you the desired effect. So, like I said, if you do not have metal sticks, you may have to take apart a Piccolo Pete, and if you don't have that, just the other alternative would be just to put them in the bottom with another firework. As look up, basically YouTube's your friend. So if you have a firework, you want to basically find one of these fireworks that has a crackling sequence. So I know Purple Rain has a crackling sequence. So what I would do would be to look up a video on Purple Rain, and Purple Rain has 3 tubes, I believe. So basically at that point you need to figure out which of these tubes emits the crackle. So after I find out which tube is crackling, I then take all that powder, put it down at the bottom with my other stars. So I believe it's the second or third tube is the crackle. So basically I would disassemble that tube, put it in the bottom of here with my other crackling ball stars, and then boom, there you go. Then you have your finale, which isn't as great as what I'm going to do, but hey, everybody's got to start somewhere. So basically, you guys can gather whatever you want and then kind of change it as to what I'm doing. But what I'm going to be doing is crackle balls and a few fountains and both types of sparklers. So both Morning Glory and both metal sticks. So if you have both, great. If you only have one, that's fine. Try to follow along best you can, and we'll go over to the other table and I'll show you what I gathered and what we're going to work with. Before I get too carried away, I'm going to go over the alternatives for my safe and sane guys. So basically you're fairly limited to what you can use for safe and sane firework making, but I'm going to go over with you what I would do if I was stuck and what I used to do in a safe and sane situation. So like I said, plan your finale first. So we already want crackle down here. So basically we're going to take our crackle balls, take those apart, funnel them in to the bottom, and do about half the box. So there's 6. Probably do maybe 2 or 3. Put them down there, and then look up a Purple Rain video or a Moon Dance video and figure out which tube in here is the crackle tube, which I think it's the second or third one, so not too sure. Hello, kitty cat. You're gonna help me up here. So basically, whatever tube that is, you find that out, and then you harvest it, which I'll show you how to do later. So basically, after you harvest all that powder, you put it down in here, and you put your other 3 crackle balls on top of that, and there's your crackling finale. It's not going to be fantastic, but it'll get the job done. Also, you can use fire crackle for more crackle. Then after that, then you want your main base, which you can use the rest of these 2 tubes in the Purple Rain to fill up this part, and sparklers. Also, you can use little smaller fountains like the purple or the spark plugs, and we have mini monsters. A lot of other things you can use to fill up this position here. And then the top, I like to normally just use sparklers. So just use your Morning Glories here. You could do several things. Break them. I usually just break off pieces and keep, sometimes towards the top I keep the paper on. So keep the paper on up here. You can use a sparkler, or what I like to do, use a fuse that I gathered from one of the fireworks. So put the fuse out there. Keep the paper sparklers all on here. Sometimes to make sure things light, I actually just use another long sparkler and put it all the way down there and just light the sparkler. That way it gives you a nice ignition. And that's pretty much how you can make a safe and sane fountain. So you can continue to watch the video, make your substitutions. I just wanted to get this, put this for you safe and sane guys. because you're going to be kind of confused because there's taking apart mortars and other giant crackle balls and stuff like that. So don't be afraid, you can still follow along. Like I said, it's beginner and intermediate. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. It's going to be a long one, so hang in there. And see you in a couple seconds, like a millisecond. Here we go. So these are all the things I've gathered. These little guys right here are kind of just fillers in case I need more powder. I'm actually going to take apart a peach flower in spring, which has 4 tubes. 2 jumbo crackling balls that have different powder in them. And for the other jumbos, and 12 of these, a mini monster which has a little crackling whip, and a mortar. And we have all our sparklers, both types. So basically, like I said, you want to design your finale first. So first things first, safety precautions, which you can do if you're rather nervous for, you know, messing with gunpowder with your bare hands. What you could do is touch a metal object with both hands, ground yourself, sit on a metal chair. Oops. You know, basically make sure you don't have any static electricity. You can wear any type of gloves. I'm not going to do it. I've been doing this since I was like 8 years old and still have all 10 of my fingers, so I'm doing something right. And the only thing you would have to worry about is this guy right here. He's the most dangerous, so we're going to go ahead and get him out of the way as fast as we can. So, I like to gather my powder in a little plastic thing. Get all these fuses and stuff out. Girlfriend's gonna kill me that I'm doing this on the table, but hey, that's okay. I'm just gonna clear all this out. So what I like to do, I like to gather my powder in something like this. So let me just put, oh! So we're gonna gather all our powder and stars in a little plastic container. Easy to move around. I have a funnel. You guys can probably watch another video on how to make a funnel, or I'm pretty sure you guys are smart enough to figure it out. I show you how to make a funnel in my other mine video, so you can just go watch that to kind of learn kind of what I do. Alright, so let's get to the hardest part. Taking this guy apart. So make sure you keep the fuse, don't just yank the fuse out. Well, we want to keep this. It's pretty good visco fuse. And it's nice and long. It'd be perfect for making another firework or this firework. So basically what you want to do, just take off all this stupid paper. Now be careful that you don't pull too hard when you're doing this, because it's all glued together. So, alright. That didn't do a whole lot, but hey. So basically what I'm going to use is a razor blade. You can use scissors, whatever. I'm just going to cut this bottom part open right here. Now this is going to get to the black powder casing. Now this, we're all going to mix it in this plastic container. Now you guys can kind of look inside there. Oops, I'm losing some of it. Let me just put the camera real quick. You can see there's the fuse in there, and there's all the black powder. That's the lift charge. And we want the lift charge to lift our little crystals up. So just pour it out all there, and we're going to gently pull out our visco fuse. And there we go. Make sure it's all out. I'm going to use more of this. Kind of keep pulling the paper off now. Now I can be a little bit more aggressive with it. Make sure it's all out. All right, it seems like it's all out. Now we're gonna bring in the scissors and make sure we got everything out here. We just want to make sure we harvest everything we possibly can. And this is a nice little neat way to see what's going on inside a mortar. So, all right. So now that we have our lift powder in here, we also want to harvest all these little stars in here. So this is going to be our finale. So we're essentially taking a mortar and making it on the ground. But we're not going to use all these stars, because that'd be a little too crazy. Because we know the amount of what goes on in this mortar is a lot different than what we're doing. It's a lot more compact. In our fountain, it's just going to shoot out a few of the stars. We're not going to use them all. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video. Basically, what you want to do is keep unwrapping the paper and slowly making cuts into the shell till you get to the casing. And then you want to slowly, I'll show you when I get to it. But basically, I'm going to skip ahead till I get to the paper close enough. Now, like I said, there's many substitutions you could do because this part right here is a little tedious. Let's see if I can focus. So see, this part right here, you have to unwrap the paper till you get to the middle crease, and so you can see the stars inside. So that's what you want to get to. So now that we're at that part, now we can actually harvest these little stars inside. Now you want to be real careful because there is a binding powder in here as well. So basically you just want to, now you want to keep as many stars as you can for later, because obviously you do not want to put all these stars in your firework, because too many and you'll have a mess. So you just want to get a few of these off. I'm going to use it's interesting, they have little seeds in there, so I think that's enough. That's a good amount in there. And what we're going to do, I actually don't have a plastic bag on me, which kind of sucks because I want to keep these out of the way, save them for later. Just put them in this little duct tape. I wonder if I can actually reseal the ball. A few are falling in. I just want to save these for later, because you don't want to put too many of these in here, because you still want to have sort of a controlled explosion. So basically, I'll cover the camera. You can kind of see what I have. These little things that were in it, I actually never seen them in there before. I guess they're to help all the little stars light. So that's pretty much what we have here. Is we have our black powder with our little stars in here. So now that we start our finale. Now, like I said, you don't have to do this. This is advanced. I will definitely, I wouldn't recommend this unless you've taken one of these apart before or you kind of know what you're doing. So we have our black powder and this. Now we're going to go ahead and start taking apart our crackle balls. Now these are the jumbo crackling balls. These are a lot different. A lot of people won't have these, because if you open these up inside, they have this, which are not like the little packs that we have over here. These are the most common ones over here. These ones by World Class, the ones that I'm getting out of here. These little ones. You just open them up like this, throw that over there, and you unwrap it. I'm trying to do all this with one hand. It's fairly fun. This one didn't have much at all in it. And there you go. That's pretty much what you get out of that. That one didn't have very much in it. But we're going to show you what's going on here. Let me put this down so I can use both hands. So this is in the jumbo crackling ball. Make sure you take the fuse off. So you can keep this whole, like this little cylinder like this, or you could break it up like I'm going to do. So just take our pliers and smash, and you're good to go. That's all you got to do. So that's broken up. I'm going to keep a few chunks in there. So now this is the fun part. You just keep taking apart these little crackle balls to get your little stars. You basically want your finale neat and tidy. And then on top of all this, we're going to skip ahead and show you what you do after you get all your crackle balls. So just pretend if you don't have access to a mortar or you don't want to take it apart, you can skip the mortar step and just start harvesting your jumbo crackle balls or crackle balls. So that's what I'm going to do. Just keep taking these apart like so. Look at all those. Oh, so good. And say you don't have any jumbo crackle balls. I believe I showed another video on how to do these. This is I believe this is a TNT firecrackle. So, and as you see, you want to do this over whatever you're collecting on because right now they're just falling off. Basically, it's the same thing. They have these little tiny stars on like a fly type paper. And you just pull it apart like so. And actually, since I'm using a mortar, I'm going to go with more of a secure base. I'm not going to use the base that I showed you. You're welcome to, but I would recommend having a bigger base than I have. I'll show you in 1 second. So, like that, you just gathered all of that. So, there you go. That's all the stars that we have. Quite a lot. Now, like I was just saying, I'm not going to use this because, well, I didn't make it that well. And that little stand, this would be fine if I just used Safe and Sane fireworks, but since I added the mortar, I want to make sure it doesn't fall over, so I'm going to go grab one of those. But you guys are welcome to still use this, but if you did use a mortar, I would recommend having a bigger base, or just something more sturdy, maybe weigh it down with something. I normally use a heavy counterweight like this. This is pretty, this weighs at least almost 3 or 4 pounds. I like to add those to the bottom or weigh it down with it. I usually tape it to the bottom. Keeps it nice and sturdy. So basically this is our finale without our binding powder. We're going to go ahead and start opening up sparklers to further make our finale even better. So we're going to skip ahead. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how to do the metal sparkler. There's several ways to do it. You can just literally just take your fingers and break it off. That's the one way to do it. It's not going to be finely ground up, but it works. And that's all you do. Simple as that. Take your fingers, pinch hard and twist, and all of it falls right off. Now, if you do have them, let me show you how to do a Morning Glory. Morning Glory. Let me get one. Here it is. Morning Glory. Just pull the stick out of the bottom. Sometimes they're harder to get out than that. Take the paper off, so rip the top. Rip the top, and then usually they're really glued in there. So, and then voila, you got this paper tube. Like so. Alright, and then now you can just break off little pieces and pinch and roll. And there you go. All the gunpowder is falling out. Now, you can either just put these little paper tubes in there, or you can pinch and roll like I'm doing. You can break it up into little pieces. It doesn't matter. Whatever you would like. So I'm going to do this a couple more times to get a good amount of powder to kind of bind it all together. Not too much though. So I'm going to skip ahead and show you guys the finished product. Alright, so I'm going to be using the big boy here. The camera's a little blurry for whatever reason. It's not focusing in. There we go. I'm going to be using the big canister a lot of people don't have. I'm just doing this because I actually have been slacking on my firework making, so I plan to make this one rather big. So anyways, you can kind of see how much stars and crap I have in there. Whoa, I already lost one. So fill it up about halfway. Gonna give it a shake. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory. Kind of just push it in there. It's gonna be a pain. I might actually have to get a bigger funnel, so I'm gonna do that. Basically, I don't really need to show you guys how to funnel stuff in because you guys know what to do. You basically just give it a little rub down in there and then it goes down. So I'm gonna skip ahead to get a bigger funnel and go on to the next step. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how to gather fountain tube fireworks. So this is essentially a mini monster, but it's the same thing you're going to get out of most of the fireworks. You just have to do some prime. So say if this was a purple rain, you would just work around it and get it in the shot. Just try and get one of these tubes out. There's 4 tubes in here. Now you would want to get whatever your crackle tube is out, and vice versa. So basically, once you get your tube out, there will be a fuse either here or at the top. But for this one, there's at the top. So you just gently either rip it out, but sometimes they're black powder tacked in like so. This is going to be a little bit more difficult. So you just got to kind of work it around, or you can actually cut it or pry it. We're going to use little needle nose pliers to ply them out, and then voila, it's out. You can keep the fuses. I always keep fuses because you never know when you need them. And now, this is the easy part. Now you can use your pliers again, and just gently, well, not really gently, you gotta give it a good squeeze on the side of the firework. Kind of loosen up all that powder inside the tube, and give it a good bang. And there, you're collecting all the powder. Now you also may get some clay. Clay's bad. You don't want clay in your fireworks. So I broke the clay bottom. So I'm just going to clear that out off screen real quick. Alright, easy as that. So now we did that. Now there's other ways to do this. You can actually unwrap it. That's my favorite way to do it, but it's a lot more time consuming. So we're just gonna keep pushing on it like too bad. But there you go. So you basically continue with that when you want to harvest fountains. It's fairly simple, and you have your own powder. As you see, it wasn't that much, but you continue and continue, and pretty much keep harvesting that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video now, and show you a finished product later on. I probably won't light this one off because it's such a big, I'm using a big tube. I probably won't light it off till 4th of July. So basically, I'm showing you guys how to do the basics. I may have forgot some stuff, but that's okay. So leave in the comments if you have any questions. I'm gonna continue to take apart fountains and sparklers and stuff like that. But I showed you the 3 most common methods. Basically, sparklers, both morning glories and normal sparklers. Fountains, and the way you do it, there's several ways to do it. All the crackle balls are all over the table. So that's pretty much it, and you funnel that into your firework, and voila, you have your own fountain. So leave in the comments if you have any questions or concerns. And sorry I'm cutting this a little short, but this video is taking up a lot of space, and I have to go ahead and finish it. And I would love to sit there and do step by step, but it'd be a very long video. So showed you guys the basics. Hope you enjoyed. Sorry I didn't do too much detail into the fountain gathering, but
this video was very hard for me to make. I always felt like I wasn't giving you guys enough information, or it wasn't like it was too little. I constantly made revisions and started this video over and over and over again. And I'm still not very happy with this video. The camera angles are a little crap still. I need to like attach my camera to my head or something for the next video so you guys can kind of get a first person view, because it's very hard to hold the camera or set it down and make fireworks. So I apologize, it's not the most instructional video, but like I said, leave in the comments if you have any questions. I do plan to make more videos and continue as I make fireworks. I plan on maybe somehow attaching the camera to my head and maybe just making it and then adding commentary as I go, kind of thing. Not in the moment, because when I'm doing things and commentating in the moment, I tend to rush things and kind of do things. So my next firework, or maybe even finishing this firework, I may just add commentary to it, stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you have any questions. So see you next video.